Interesting, Greg, because Tim Walz let his National Guard troop deploy.
Yes.
And that's when he conveniently got out of the military.
Yes, he'll be running again if there's a war.
So how does he go from I'm gonna whoop JD Vance's arse to I'm never running for office again in 48 hours?
Well, it's not Kamala's fault. She didn't kill Walz's career. Sunlight did. The guy was able to succeed because he was in the shadows. Nobody knew who he was. He operated in the darkness of layered bureaucracies, you know, where corruption and ineptitude can fester and flourish like an open sore. And then as long as every palm is greased in these nether regions, nobody knew. And it worked. It worked for a while, but then the ego enticed Walz out of his sinicured lair. He liked the sound of Vice President Walz. Surely they won't dig into his past or look at his books. And they did. And then he's like, well, wait a second. And then suddenly he's the patsy. And now we're in this era of the peeling back of the Band-Aid. Nick Shorter, you know, pulling the bandage back. And we see the sores of corruption, Dana. And it's happening all over. You know, the BLM charities, the voting systems, the homeless rackets, the climate scams. Doge may be done, but the mindset has been unleashed, and it seems unstoppable.
Well, Dana, the one thing that he said that was actually true was it's not just happening in my state.
Right.
So it's not just the corruption in Minnesota, it's the incompetence of the candidate and the governor. Was he ever viable?
No, I don't think so. And I also really disagree with the headline. I don't think Kamala Harris ruined his career. She provided rocket fuel to his career, and then he got exposed, as Greg was saying, in the lair.
He exposed himself.
And that was disgusting,
Yes.
and I will never forget it. And so it's the obvious stuff, right? He was bad in the debates, he was bad in the interviews. One of the things your vice presidential candidate is supposed to do is expose the other side, get under their skin, be the attack dog, and he wasn't. And he said something along the lines of he gave JD the benefit of the doubt in the debate, rather than actually, no, he had never had a competitive race. And that's another thing that I think is a good lesson of all of this. You can vet the people through. You can say, okay, we're going to ignore this $9 billion in fraud that he let happen to his constituents. But if you are trying to run somebody who has never had a competitive race, they're likely not to do very well.
Yes, and to Dana's point, like, you are supposed to be the enforcer. Vance has always known that. He has known that he's Trump's enforcer, and he actively goes after people, and Walz didn't have that skill set. Do you believe that if there was a redo, if somehow he was the candidate in 2028, that...
Walz? That's funny. No, I mean, he's going nowhere. This is the perfect example of the more incompetent you are, the higher you rise in Democrat politics.
And at Fox.
You have shows, don't you? Walz, Biden, Harris, Newsom, de Blasio, Karen Bass. These are people who are dumb. They look a certain way and they get elevated and told what to say. And the more power they get, the more exposed they get. And you see all of them crashing to the ground. He was only chosen because Kamala needed a Midwestern white guy yes man who was non-threatening. And he goes out and you look at his resume, it's death and riots and fraud, and he bombs the debate. The reason he's not running again is just because he's not going to win. He's going to hand the governor's office back to a Republican. So he cuts a deal with Amy, who eats a salad with a fork or a knife or a comb, whatever she does. She's ridiculous. They're so scared of Republicans winning power, they'll do anything. Meanwhile, there's so much fraud under this guy's hood. He's trying to run away because he's broke, and now he has to defend himself for the next couple years. Vance looks so good. Think about it. What an indictment of Kamala Harris. Trump picks Vance. Everyone's like, don't pick Vance. That's too risky. Meanwhile, she picks this guy, and he's out of a job in a year. Vance now is polling ahead of every Republican in the primary, and this is an indictment of Harris more than anything else.
Is it?
No, it's not. I kind of think
You think she picked him and that was a good choice?
He said that Pete Buttigieg was too gay and Josh Shapiro was too Jewish.
And his wife didn't have enough money for good hair and makeup. Yeah, I know. I've read all of it. I think it's kind of a non-story. I think it is about his own career and this fraud scandal, and not that he's been personally implicated in it, but it was a lot of swirl about it, and it was going to dog him the entire time that he was running for it. And
But they didn't vet him about the fraud
well,
scandal?
that has confused me still that didn't come out, because it seems like there was a vetting process, obviously, that went on. And they asked Walz, according to Josh Shapiro's new book, obviously to him about Israel, and that Walz was asked about China. So there were conversations about things that could come out on the trail that would not be great. But, you know, the Republican Party wanted to get Walz out, for sure. And now they have Amy Klobuchar, who is one of the more popular politicians that you're going to find. You dismissed her. I don't know why. She's hugely effective and is going to win.
She's a terrible speaker. You
Why is
know
she
that.
so effective?
But
What? 'Cause
she sounds.
What's so good
First of
about
all, being
Amy
a-
Klobuchar?
Well, she delivers for her people
What
at
are you
home.
talking about? Delivers what?
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said.
Like,
Tell me
she
about
gets
Amy.
bills
Why is she so great? What bills? What?
She has no sense of humor. She is not
Is this
persuasive.
a joke?
There's no. Everything she does comes off as a cringe.
Yeah,
Don't
she's
you remember every time
corny.
she tried to do something, people would just go, "God help us! Where did this thing come from?"
Her staff hates her. It's the only staff that hates her more than Kamala's staff.
No, that's not.
She
Yes.
eats her salad with a fork and she washes her hair
cone.
with a spoon.
Oh, I get where you were going with it. Anyway,
She did stay in the race longer than just about any other Democrat in 2020. And she would have outlived Joe Biden. If he had picked her as his vice president,
yeah.
it would be a very different time.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.